In 1912, a team of archaeologists digging into Wisconsin soil uncovered something impossible. Skeletons, massive skeletons, some 8 to 10 feet tall, bones that defied human history. Newspapers reported it. Locals saw it. The Smithsonian arrived, and everything vanished. But why would America's largest scientific institution erase the discovery? Tonight, we follow the trail they tried to bury. The unearthed giants of 1912 spring, Lake Delavan, Wisconsin. Farmers clearing land for a new building project accidentally exposed ancient burial mounds, over 2,000 years old, connected to the mound builder cultures. When archaeologists from Beloit College arrived, they were stunned. They documented 18 skeletons. Many were normal size, but several were not. Reports described massive skulls, elongated and heavy double rows of teeth, towering height estimates, 8 to 10 feet, strange bone structures suggesting abnormal strength. These weren't rumors. They were published in the New York Times, May 4, 1912. The article described the remains as giant humans, with features not belonging to any known race. But this is where things get strange, because within days, the Smithsonian showed up, and everything changed. Cliffhanger. Why did the Smithsonian shut down the excavation so quickly, and what happened to the bones? The Smithsonian arrives, and the silence begins. When Smithsonian agents took control of the site, they removed every skeleton. They promised further study. They promised transparency. But none of the giant skeletons ever appeared in the Smithsonian's collection. No public report, no scientific paper, no photographs, nothing. It was as if the discovery never existed. Researchers later found that Smithsonian field directors at the time, especially Alice Herdlicka, head of physical anthropology, were aggressively suppressing anything that challenged the standard model of human history. Herdlicka rejected ancient giants, early visitors to America, any advanced pre-Columbian civilization. He openly stated that any such findings were errors, frauds, or misunderstandings. Yet, dozens of reports from Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois tell the same story. Strange skeletons, unusual heights, double rows of teeth, all collected by the Smithsonian, all missing. Why? Some say it was scientific embarrassment. Others believe acknowledging giants would rewrite human origins, or expose knowledge kept by Native American tribes who long spoke of ancient giant races like the Siteka and the Thunderbirds. Cliffhanger. But if this was just one excavation, why do we find the same pattern again and again across America? The pattern they don't want you to see. Between 1850 and 1920, more than 500 local newspapers reported giant skeletal discoveries in the U.S., not fringe tabloids. Well-known papers, the New York Times, Scientific American, the St. Louis Dispatch, the San Diego Union, the Kansas City Journal. The descriptions are consistent. Height, 7 to 12 feet skull anomalies, double dentition mound builder locations, Smithsonian involvement, followed by silence. Let's take Wisconsin specifically. In 1880, near Maple Creek, workers found a 9-foot skeleton. In 1891, in La Crosse, archaeologists found the skull of a giant. And in 1912, the Lake Delavan skeletons became the most famous case of all. The pattern was undeniable. Every time giant skeletons were found, Smithsonian agents retrieved them. Then they disappeared. A historian named David C. Childress reviewed Smithsonian annual reports from the 1800s and early 1900s. He found references to strangely large bones collected from mounds. But after 1930, all mentions stopped. The institutional memory was wiped clean. Cliffhanger. So what were these beings? And why were they buried in sacred mounds across the Midwest? The science they didn't want to do. If these were truly giant humans, anthropology would change overnight. But let's look at the physical evidence described in newspapers and early reports. Huge femurs, broad pelvises, massive rib cages, heavy, thick skulls, unusual jawlines, extra teeth rows, a biological rarity. Were they simply individuals with gigantism? Unlikely. Gigantism causes weak bones and health issues. These skeletons, however, showed robust, powerful bone structure, the opposite of gigantism. Another theory, they were an extinct branch of Homo sapiens, a race wiped out thousands of years ago. Some Native American tribes even described giant beings. The Ho-Chunk spoke of huge men who hunted thunderbirds. The Iroquois told of cannibalistic giants. The Paiute described the red-haired Sea-Tay-Ka who lived in North America long before them. Different cultures. Similar stories. Were these just legends? Or were they memories of real beings? Modern studies of ancient DNA show surprising complexity in early North America, including unknown lineages. But here's the problem. Without the bones, we can't test anything, and those bones are gone. Cliffhanger. So where are they? And is the Smithsonian hiding them? Or did something even stranger happen? Inside the vault, where did the bones go? If the Smithsonian didn't destroy the bones, where did they end up? To answer that, we need to look at the Smithsonian's own structure, especially something most people don't know exists. The Division of Physical Anthropology's Restricted Access Storage, often referred to by researchers as the Bone Room. This is a secure archive containing uncatalogued remains early excavation collections from the 1800s, Native American bones awaiting repatriation, artifacts not listed in public databases. Several former employees, speaking anonymously in interviews between 2005 and 2015, admitted that some remains from early mound excavations were never properly logged. One even claimed, there are large skeletons, very large, but nobody wants to talk about them. Are these the missing Wisconsin giants? We can't say for sure. But here's the strange part. When independent historian Mark Potkin filed a FOIA request asking for the Lake Delavan skeletons, the Smithsonian's response was, no records exist. Not restricted. Not lost. Just gone. That's not normal. Even if bones are destroyed, the records remain. But here, both the bones and the paperwork disappeared. So was this a cover-up? Or something deeper? Cliffhanger. Before we answer that, we need to uncover the one thing that ties all these discoveries together: the mound builders themselves. The forbidden history of the mound builders. For over a century, archaeologists believed the mound builders were ancestors of modern Native American tribes, but early European settlers didn't think so. They thought the mounds were far older. Some even believed they belonged to a lost civilization. In the 1800s, the Smithsonian launched the Bureau of Ethnology to settle this debate. Their goal was not to investigate, it was to eliminate competing theories. And guess who led that effort? Alice Herdlicka, the same man who later oversaw the disappearance of the Wisconsin skeletons. He aggressively pushed one idea. There were no ancient giants. No unknown civilizations existed here. The mound builders were simply Native Americans. Case closed. But the physical evidence didn't match the narrative. Some mounds show astronomical alignment. Others have stone chambers. Some form geometric patterns visible only from above, and in certain cases, giant skeletons were reportedly found inside. The Lake Delavan mounds were unique. They contained elongated skulls and oversized bones, far bigger than typical humans. Some tribal stories even support the idea of a giant race. The Ho-Chunk people call them Wakchungi. The Ojibwe call them Maingan. The Paiutes of Nevada spoke of the Sea-Tay-Ka, a cannibalistic giant tribe with red hair, the same description found in Lovelock Cave. But here's the most important clue. Many of these giant remains were found inside mounds constructed thousands of years apart. This means giants didn't just appear once, they appeared across different eras, all over North America. and each time someone dug one up, the Smithsonian took it. Cliffhanger. So why erase this part of American history? What were they protecting? The motive behind the erasure. Scientists protect theories. Institutions protect reputations. And the Smithsonian? They protect the story of humanity. If giants existed, human evolution would need rewriting. Ancient America would seem far older and stranger. The mound builders might have been more advanced. Tribal legends would gain scientific validity. The idea of isolated continents would collapse. And perhaps the biggest fear. Giants raise the question of who or what came before us. Some researchers believe these beings might have been a now extinct branch of Homo sapiens, survivors of a prehistoric catastrophe, early humans with genetic anomalies, or a race mentioned in world mythology, from the Nephilim of the Bible to the Titans of Greek lore. Even mainstream science acknowledges that early human species interbred and created surprising lineages. So wiping out these discoveries might not have been a conspiracy. It might have been protection. Protection from rewriting everything we know about ourselves. But there's one more twist. A twist from 1998. Cliffhanger. A modern discovery may prove the Smithsonian wrong and the legends right. The DNA puzzle. A new clue emerges. In 1998, archaeologists studying ancient skeletal remains in Minnesota found something unusual. A 7-foot-tall male skeleton with unusually thick bones. Tests showed it belonged to a person from around 2,000 years ago, the same era as the Wisconsin mounds. DNA analysis revealed no markers for gigantism, high muscle density genes, mitochondrial DNA, not matching known regional groups. In simple terms, he was strong. He was tall. He was not like other ancient people in the area. This wasn't proof of giants, but it suggested something real. A physically distinct population once lived in North America. So maybe the giant skeleton stories weren't exaggerations after all. Maybe they were early observations of this unknown group. If the Smithsonian hid the Wisconsin skeletons, maybe they feared what DNA could reveal. Something new, something inconvenient. Something not human in the way we define human. Cliffhanger. And if these beings existed, did they vanish naturally or were they wiped out? The question. They never answered. We may never know the full truth. The Wisconsin skeletons are missing. The Smithsonian denies everything. The newspapers from the 1800s and 1900s remain the only surviving witnesses. And the Native American legends, once dismissed as myth, now sound a little more like memory. But the question remains, why would the Smithsonian hide the truth about giants in America? What were they trying to protect? Our history? Their reputation? Or something far older and far stranger? Tell me what you think. Were there really ancient giants in North America? And did the Smithsonian cover it up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.